Hello everyone, Big Clingy here for something that you might not have expected, but I've had a lot of fun with this game and I wanted to record something regarding it while I still have it in my muscle memory. So what I plan on doing here, you can see two of my original files here, a 100% normal and then a hard mode one. What I'm going to be doing here is a 0% run. That means playing through the game, getting no expansions, because all of the upgrades are required in this game, and none of them add percentage. Personally, I find these kind of Metroid games more fun to low percent, because it means you get to play around with your entire moveset, while still having the thrill of needing to manage your missiles and only having one energy tank. I'll be playing this on normal mode because I've tried it on hard, and after the first area, basically everything one-shots you, and personally, I don't like that in a low percent run because it just makes it indistinguishable from a no damage run. I like having the strategy of managing your limited energy. So, without further ado, let's begin. Metroid. A virulent floating organism that drained energy from its prey through physical contact. Metroids were originally created by the Chozo and named after their word for Ultimate Warrior, therefore the series name still makes sense because it can also refer to Samus herself. Their value as a bioweapon sparked several crises, and as a result, all traces of them have been eliminated. They are now extinct. X-Parasite, a gelatinous parasitic organism indigenous to the planet SR388. It could absorb the DNA of its host, living or dead, and replicate its form. While infecting a living host, it could even access the host's memories. X-Parasites were driven not by emotion, but by an instinctive need to replicate and spread to increasingly stronger hosts. Their inability to be controlled marked them as even more dangerous than their sole predator, the Metroids. Like the Metroids, they are believed extinct. And we have a few scenes summarising the opening of Metroid Fusion, which this game is a direct sequel to after over a decade. With no Metroid surviving on SR388, it became infested with the X, horrifying parasites capable of imitating any living being. Unaware of this, I set foot on the planet, got infected, and almost died. I like the 8-bit Metroid sprite there. And also got a very controversial looking suit. The Fusion suit isn't really all that popular among fans of this series as far as Samus's looks go. The only thing that saved me was a vaccine created from Metroid DNA, which also left me uniquely able to oppose the X, but also gave Samus a cold vulnerability, which totally won't come back to bite her in this game at all. This ability was tested immediately when I went to a Biologic Space Laboratories BSL research station to investigate a distress signal. That's Fusion. So yeah, all of this is basically telling you play Fusion. Seriously, go ahead and play Fusion. It's actually really good. It caused controversy at first, but it's been reevaluated quite well now. It's pretty short, just like this game, and you can get it pretty cheaply via Virtual Console. There, I battled many powerful X forms, including the SAX, which was the X mimicking me in my power suit at full strength, with none of my intelligence. I eventually eliminated the X menace on SR388 by setting the BSL research station on a collision course with the planet. After that, the X and Metroids were just memories, or so we thought. Just when it all seemed over, the Galactic Federation received a mysterious video transmission. It showed an X, alive and in the wild. Thorough analysis proved the video was real. Although the sender was unknown, the transmission was traced to a particular planet. It was called ZDR. If the X had somehow escaped extinction out there, they would pose a threat to the entire galaxy. The Galactic Federation dispatched a research team of 7 EMI to investigate. and Emmy is a large research robot designed to capture field samples and extract their DNA. Their incredible mobility and protective plating, made of the strongest stuff in the universe, practically guaranteed the mission's success. But not long after their arrival in ZDR, all communication was lost. Like most AI in science fiction, they totally didn't decide to turn evil or anything like that. No, that could never happen. AI would never betray us. What is happening on ZDR? Is the planet really infested with X? As the only one immune to the parasites, it's up to me to go there and find out, and also her suit looks a lot cooler this time. Yeah, that's a long sequence of cutscenes that I kind of feel like speedrunners probably hate because I don't think they're skippable. And you'd imagine just the sheer number of times speedrunners would have to restart the game.
We'll soon be entering ZDR's atmosphere.
The bounty for this mission does not seem appropriate. The risk clearly outweighs the reward. Treat our lost assets with care, lady.
Translation, please try not to blow up the planet this time, again.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, clearly that landing didn't go well. Our suit is looking significantly less orange.
That elevator leads to the depths of an underground facility. Signal quality is likely to be low. Remote communication remains usable. Try to connect to the facility's network when you reach the bottom. That way, you can remain in contact. Any objections, lady?
So we just had a run-in with what spoiler-minded people in this community like to call Frank. Yes, that's their name for him. And Frank seems to have got rid of all of our powers. That cutscene is actually so cool though, but I can't really talk about why just yet. So anyway, we can run, and I love the way Samus runs. It's very fluid and just feels so good. You can also aim up and down while you're running and fire Samus's weapon. Let's just keep going. This thing actually speeds up somewhat when you shoot it, so yeah. There are methods I could use to make fighting them easier, but I'm going to wait until it explains them to us, so... We can slide, which I believe was in Metroid Samus Returns, but not in most of the other ones. Those little weird pulsating things, you can shoot them to explode them and create new paths. These are regular beam blocks, which you can shoot and it will destroy them. That is an ammo recover, but we already have our ammo at maximum capacity. Can't get in that small passageway though, because we do not have our morph ball. So, hold R and shoot to fire missiles. Missiles can expose particular types of blocks. We can't do anything about that purple one yet. And this is a command room.
Uploading data.
So, you've accessed the network station. Well done, Samus. I have reviewed your vital signs and video log from the data you uploaded. I've run a full analysis, but I cannot account for why you lost consciousness. My readings indicate dramatic physical changes in you. Whatever caused these changes seems to have stripped you of most abilities. You might call it physical amnesia.
Physical amnesia, don't you just hate it? Samus suffers from that way too often.
That brings me to your assailant. I am checking the Federation database against your video log. It appears to have been a Chozo. The attacker's identity is not yet clear.
It's very rare to see a living Chozo, let alone a villainous one.
I have determined that you are somewhere within the depths of ZDR. Your top priority should be to return to your ship on the surface. This situation is precarious. Trust your instincts as you navigate upward.
So we've been completely cut off from our ship. Our goal is to actually get back there.
This planet appears to consist of multiple areas. Shuttles, elevators, and other modes of transport connect them. Keep an eye out for ways to reach the surface.
Yeah, standard Metroidvania.
The ship's location is marked on your global map. Check it for yourself. You may encounter pockets of low temperature. Your Metroid DNA renders you vulnerable to such environments. Spending time in cold areas will be harmful to you.
Yes, I pointed that out earlier.
There are many such cold areas scattered underground. Do not enter them with your basic power suit.
I mean, it's not like I would let you enter those areas without authorizing the suit or anything. No, let's not get into that.
One final thing. Underground interference is preventing radio transmissions. Check in with me at any network stations you find.
So yeah, that's Adam Samus' ship AI that we find out things about in Metroid Fusion. It's named after an old commander she used to work with in a game that you can totally treat as non-canon, and honestly, it's totally fine to treat as non-canon. But anyway, ow. Yeah, jump right on you there, but you dropped a little bit of energy to bring you back to health. You want to take that save point because one of the trickiest parts of a low percent run is coming up. Not this though. That is a melee counter, which was introduced in Samus Returns. When you see the enemy give off that little flash, it means that you... Oh, there's one there. Yeah, it won't work unless you actually do the counter. Otherwise, you'll just, like, ineffectually swipe at them. You can shoot these things down, but it's often a little more effective to counter them because it actually gives you more pickups. 2 missiles is enough to take those guys out. You can also wall jump. And there's another one of these things up here. I don't really know many of the official names of these enemies. Didn't know you could hit me from all the way down here. You can also do a counter while you're aiming. But I kind of like to call those things Shriek Bats, because there was an enemy in Prime like that. And Metroid Prime 1 was my first Metroid game. So yeah, if you press X while running, you can do the dash melee, which is really only effective against enemies that die to one hit from something. Now here, so once you slide through that entrance, there's no coming out until you blow up this wall. But there is a trick that lets you shoot this wall from, like, over here. I'm not going to try and do it, though. But it's just something that I've seen from videos. It's possible, but, and it does let you skip something that's coming up. So yeah, blinking areas and hidden items. By the way, this is the map. If we go to the global map, we are all the way down here, and our ship is all the way up there. But these are the areas we've been through so far. We can zoom in, and I actually like the map overall, and I kind of like how this game has much more of a seamless transition between areas than your average Metroid game. But we can aim at this thing and explode it, and here is one of our biggest challenges so far. That missile expansion, we are supposed to get that, but this is a 0% run, and it is skippable, but it's a little tricky to do. So my goal here is to grab this ledge, don't press up or your hitbox will clip into it. Then what I want to do is I want to hit back and jump, and then immediately hit forward. Yep, done right, you will flip right over it. But that takes a bit of practice. That's how I like to skip that in 0% runs. That thing friendly, or... Nope, doesn't seem too friendly! An enemy's attack can be countered by pressing X at the exact moment of the flash. However, the timing is extremely difficult to gauge, making this a desperate maneuver. Does always work in the tutorial though. So the interesting thing is, if you wait here and let it grab you again, it will still give you like that mercy period, but as soon as you slide under its legs, the mercy gloves are off, and the next time it catches you, you will have to time it correctly or instantly die. Well, it's having trouble climbing with one of its arms gone. Our regular guns couldn't hurt that, but there was a conveniently placed super weapon here, the Omega Cannon. Omega Blaster Online. This bit here, actually tripped me up for quite a while, so I'm glad they give you this little area to freely test out the weapon without the risk of dying. So when I was first playing this, I was trying to press down and up to adjust my aim up and down, and I was doing this, and I was like, what? Like, what the heck is this sensitivity? No, that's not how you use this game's aim mode. Instead of thinking of your control stick as moving like up and down, think of the control stick as Samus's arm. Point the control stick in the direction you want Samus to aim. It takes a lot of getting used to, but it's a really cool system once you figure it out. So basically, you want to point the control stick in a certain direction and keep steady, and then charge and fire. Keep steady, charge, and boom! Unfortunately, the Omega Cannon is temporary. But, well, at least we didn't get killed by a robot. That's I wouldn't say like one-way door, but basically some doors start out one way, but once you open them in a certain direction, then they'll be permanently open. And we can save our progress here. These are always useful in a low percent run, because if you die, which you will frequently, you will go back to this. But here's the thing about Metroid Dread. Save rooms are not as important, because Metroid Dread is very generous with checkpoints. Can't shoot that through the wall there, but we can shoot you. That thing will try and suck you in otherwise. Our beam can't break that door. The water is preventing us from getting any higher here, but if we blow this up, we can get higher here at the cost of being able to go back because we can't slide through water. This is actually something about this game that does bug me at times. It loves to gate off your progress backwards. And there are definitely ways that you can backtrack and have some kind of non-linearity, but you need to know exactly when and how the game expects you to do that, and that can be tricky on a first playthrough. I prefer Metroidvania games to be a little bit more open with when they let you backtrack, but that's just me. But I'm not knocking this game. This game is absolutely fantastic. Like, it's an amazing, amazing game. But anyway, that's just one gripe that I have with it. So, yeah, we can't really get up here, but we can slide through here. And that's one way for now. Another one of those temporary one-way passages. Can't go through there yet, because we don't have the right thing. But we can go through here. Uh-oh. We no longer have the Omega Blaster. And these things are made of the hardest stuff in the universe. So, yep, no choice but to run. Run, 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 run. Aha, don't like tight spaces, do you? Let's use that to our advantage. You gotta be quick, though, because it is gonna climb this wall. It will get to you eventually if you're not careful. Not safe yet, but that's also a tight space. You do annoyingly have to wait for this one a little bit, but it's to demonstrate the fact that these doors lock while the Emmy still has a lock on you. Once the Emmy goes back into patrol mode, then you can proceed through those doors. Hi there, missile tank. You're actually going to be tough to avoid later on in the game, but for now we can leave you.
Uploading data.
Both Emmy you encountered were clearly trying to capture you. They may have been hacked. If so, it's reasonable to assume all Emmy will be hostile.
You don't say.
Emmy send out a pulse to detect vibrations in the air within a certain range. Essentially, they can hear you. Upon detecting vibrations, an Emmy enters surveillance mode to track their source. Stay out of its line of sight when this happens. Otherwise, the danger to you increases dramatically.
The danger to you will increase dramatically. That's a very polite way of putting it.
An Emmy that has seen you will begin pursuit. Part of the pursuit protocol is to seal the Emmy zone exits. You will be trapped in...
So that's what I was talking about before.
To survive, you must leave its range of pursuit. Evade the Emmy and it will disengage. This will also unseal the exits. An Emmy never leaves its assigned zone. Their control system must permit them to operate only within that range.
Yeah, that's very convenient. I think the developers said that they specifically did that because if the Emmys were hunting you anywhere, that would just make the experience way too frustrating and terrifying.
I estimate a 99% probability of death if an Emmy captures you. There may be a very small opportunity to escape, but exploiting this window will be virtually impossible. The Emmy are immune to your current weapons. You lack the unique energy used to defeat the first Emmy. Your only option now is to evade capture and find an exit.
One thing I really like is if you remember that cutscene, Samus tries her beam and then missiles and notices both don't work. Always pay attention to what Samus does in cutscenes, because everything is a hint at the towards something you can do in gameplay, or in this case, something you can't do.
Your highest priority in an Emmy zone should be simply to survive.
Well, yeah, that's charming. At least we know exactly where the Emmy zones are, and the good news is every time you enter an Emmy zone, that counts as a checkpoint, so if the Emmy kills you, and believe me, they will quite frequently, you will go straight back to the entrance to the zone. You don't need to worry too much about losing progress in this game. And here, I couldn't get this anyway, but we lack the ability to pull ourselves through that ledge. So I might want to think about that for later. We're now in the danger zone once more, so we've got to be kind of careful. Oh, that sound means Emmy is close by. Uh-oh, it's heard me. Oh, yeah, I remember this. That is... Oh, yep, that's bad. Well, I was able to stun it that time, but if you are not careful and you get caught like a second time, the Emmy will kind of randomly vary its timing. So don't rely on that always. That was a close call. But okay, we're out. And now we're into this area. I like to use missiles on these things because that blows up a lot of them at once. I probably should be using my missiles more, actually. It's easy to forget that I have them, but like in a low percent run, you only get 15 of these. Speaking of low percent, that's something that we can't get right there. Just wanted to show that it was there, though. And here's another save room. It might seem like we're meandering a little bit in this area. That's kind of what you do. You just basically go wherever you have access to and just hope that that's the way to progress. For example, we can't go through there yet, but we'll want to make a mental note of that later. It's just kind of something about Metroidvania games that I'll find. Okay, firstly, there's one of these. Oh, we just skipped right past it. Didn't even need to try and counter. But about Metroidvania games is that, like, a lot of people say that they're very non-linear, but really, Metroid games actually are very linear. The general theme of these games is you try and go one direction, you get stopped by something that you don't have the right power-up to get past, and then you go another direction. You keep going until you get a new power-up, and then you see where you can go with that, and so on. This game in particular really likes to sort of funnel you where to go via, you know, the environment or different kinds of doors that you can access with your abilities. In this case, we have to head back because now the water's drained from here and we can get through this way. And this is new. Looks like some kind of Chozo archive. This planet seems to have been inhabited by Chozo. We weren't directly told that, but we can easily infer that through the environment and the fact that we just met one. And this is a map room. It downloads a vague idea of the map. So this is actually kind of cool. Like, there's still some mystery in what rooms you'll be going to because you only know, like, where the map extends to, not, like, what the rooms actually look like. But we do know where save rooms are, they're yellow, and the purple ones are transport facilities. That is something that we don't know what it is yet, and that's an item we don't know what it is yet, that we won't ever be picking up anyway, so I guess I can say that's an energy part, since we'll never actually get that explained to us. And if you go up there, it's just going to lead to a missile tank, so I don't need to do that. Uh-oh. We're back in the Emmy zone. These things can only be destroyed by missiles, but they give you a lot of missiles. Oh, great, that Emmy's already onto me. That's not good, because this area, I find, it actually helps a lot if you do not attract the Emmy's attention. Because here you need to step on this switch for a long time in order to activate something to go forward. So, okay, yeah, when you hear that sound, that means it's safe to proceed through here. We're still in the Emmy zone, though. But not for long. Goodbye, Emmy. I like the music here. Yeah, that's an energy recharge station, but I don't need a recharge. Oh, these things. Those green balls actually hurt quite a lot. One missile takes them out, though. That there, you can see there's cold coming out of that, so don't go in there or you'll take damage. That's a missile cover. And that there is a counter enemy. Oh, hi there, yep. Dash melee will do that. And this is our first upgrade, the charge beam. How fortunate that we landed on a planet that happened to have a lot of old Chozo weapons for us to take. So the charge beam. This is the best friend of everyone playing a low percent run, because with limited missiles, you'll need to use this to damage most things that are only vulnerable to, well, missiles. Basically, just hold down the fire button to charge. It can damage things that are armored. It can open those orange doors. And you can also, by holding a charge and spin jumping... Yeah, this is the thing. If you press the jump button without holding a direction, you do a regular jump. But if you hold a direction, you'll do a spin jump. Both are kind of different. If you charge and do a spin jump, you can actually destroy some enemies. But a single hit will consume the charge. And hey, look, we're back where we began. These enemies... These enemies are actually really disorienting to fight when you're replaying the game, because their counter is so slow, and early on that's kind of a mercy, but later in the game when you're used to enemies that have fast counters, it just is really awkward to have to wait that long for a counter, and often your timing can be thrown off just by how slow that is. Anyway... We could actually probably go back to that save point if we wanted to, but like, yeah, just look at this. It's actually faster to just kill those things with charge shots and missiles than it is to, you know, don't even need to bother with the counters when we've got a charge beam here. Nope, nope. Didn't quite get the charge in on you, though. But yeah, at this point, we're basically going to be charging a lot of the time. Counters are still useful, though, especially since they give you more, stuff. You can transition into melee attacks quite quickly from using a beam. So that's pretty cool. Like, everything in Samus's moveset, again, just chains together so well. Like, she controls like an absolute dream. This game is incredibly well made, although that should be really obvious. Okay, so at this point, I like to check... Okay, yeah, that's a charge beam door. That's where we should be going next. Usually when you get a new power-up, you can also... Here's a really cool feature of this game. If you press the Y button, this will highlight anything on the map that your new power-up can open. And I actually believe that we do need to go all the way back to that top part where, and head back into the enemy zone here, and get a slight foreshadowing cutscene. But yeah, at this point, I think we actually do need to go back up to that, that network room that we were in earlier. We need to be, okay, can't get through that way. We need to be careful because Emmys can indeed go through doors. Uh-oh. Oh, that's a little too close for comfort. Technically hasn't seen me yet, but it can hear me. Let's just get back through here. You kind of memorize your routes through these places after time, and now we can get through there. There's now one of these things here, but yeah, if you use missiles, or you don't even need to use the counter on it. Didn't actually show this last time, but we can't go that way. The moment we step into that security scan, it doesn't let us through. Also, if you look closely, you might have seen something in the background there, and there's also a bloody carcass. That might be implying something. But I think now actually might be a good time to save and continue things next time. So, I'll see you next time when we open that charge beam door above and enter the room.